Hello there guys, what's up? Elita-Legionarii here, and as you can see I've got a 3v3 battle before you today, but before I go into the specifics of this battle, I just wish to bring up the fact that today is quite, at least for me, is quite an important date. It is at least here in New Zealand, it is the 9th of September. It's probably still the 8th of September in most places for you guys, because I tend to be like 12 hours ahead of most people being here in New Zealand. But some of you are probably in the 9th, and maybe even by the time I get this uploaded it will be the 9th for you, but it is the 9th of September. Now what makes this date significant is 3 years ago on the 9th of September 2012 I uploaded my first video. So I've been making YouTube videos for 3 years today, and it's really quite amazing when I think about it, because it doesn't feel like it was 3 years ago. I can still remember doing my first video and my very early battles back then, and it's very exciting when I look back at it. It's sort of like time has gone by really fast, but at the same time it feels like it's been ages. It's very hard for me to explain. But nonetheless, I'm just saying this because I'm really grateful for all my viewers. This will be my 652nd video. So I've uploaded, by the time this one gets up, 652 videos in 3 years. And I've got 556 or 7 subs, I forget the exact number. And I'm just going to say it, I've met some absolutely fantastic people on my channel in these last 3 years, and some of them I can go on to say I've become very good friends with online, and I'm really grateful to that. Now I'm not going to actually have this video be anything special. It's just a regular battle. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I would actually like to do something special with a group of several groups of people I've worked with in the community in these last 3 years. I would love to do some like triple or even quadruple commentaries. That would be awesome. With like Biscuits and Beast or Swedish Lunch, anybody really. I would really like to have you guys join me in a commentary at some point. I don't know when this will be, or it might take a bit of organising, but I'd really love to do something like that to celebrate. Maybe do some great big video, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 battles all spliced into one big video, like an hour and a half or 2 hour long video, and I'll just leave it up for a whole week, and you guys can watch this one big video over a period of a week or something like that. I've thought about it for a while, and I'd really like to do something like that, but I'd really like to do it with people I know in the community. Probably some Rome Total War stuff would be most likely, so 31k players. But I might do some other stuff because I've played. I've got over 100 Medieval 2 videos and other stuff, and I would just very much like to do something interesting, exciting with people in the community to celebrate 3 years of making videos and hopefully entertaining you guys, if you can put up with my crappy jokes and crappy micro and Kiwi accent, or New Zealand accent, because I've had a fantastic time and I would really like to do something special. So if you guys have got other ideas, you can leave them in the comment section. I would like to hear what you guys think, because I would like to do something special for celebrating 3 years of YouTubing. Anyway, let's get into the battle. So this is a bit of an interesting battle because I'm actually playing as Carthage. I haven't done this for a while, but I've pretty recently been playing quite a bit with Carthage. So I've got quite a few good battles with Carthage, and I'm going to upload a few of them from time to time. So it was a 3v3, and it's also in the Syrian Flats. I think it's Syrian Flats. I think it's called Syrian Flats, this map. It's basically just grassy flatlands in the desert. It's not quite the same because obviously for most factions, unless you're Egypt, you have a stamina issue. If you run around too much in the desert, your men tire much quicker. So there's some other factors to take into consideration when you're on the Syrian Flats map. My allies are MGM. He was in King's Clan back then. This battle was about a month ago, 3 weeks to a month ago. And he's playing as the Senate. He has got, I believe, 6 cavalry, 1 archer unit that I can see up there, and the rest are urbans, I believe. I cannot see. He might have a first cohort. He's got a first cohort, I think. Legionary first cohort, yeah. So that's MGM's army, and then of course Hades from Titan's clan. Been playing heaps with Hades of late. Really enjoying the team battles I'm having with Hades, and we've been doing a lot of experimentation. A lot of the 2v2s we've been doing, and I'm really enjoying it. Learning lots from Hades. He's a fantastic guy, great player. One of my absolute favourite people to play with, and just talk to online. He's fantastic. Hades is playing as the Julii Romans. He's got 3 archers, 6 cav, and I believe the rest are all urbans. And our opponents are the always interesting OTD clan members, Copsman and Rex. And then we've got Boo Boo, I believe, with Macedon, or Immortus from IoW. He was under the name Karanis at this stage, but he's using Immortus now. Why I say it's interesting here with the OTD clans, because they always bring tons and tons of archers. In most cases when they play in... Holy crap, he's got gladiators. That's rare. So yeah, we've got Copsman here with 4 archers, which is pretty low by OTD stands. Usually they bring 6, but he's got 4. He's got that V-Light gladiator, 6 cav, and the rest are urban, so he's obviously the Brutii. And you got, I believe, 4 archers here for Rex, and then you've got 6 cav, and I believe 10 urbans. Then you got 2 archers here from Boo Boo. You got a general's bodyguard in here somewhere. I can see I think. Actually, no, it's all companion cavalry. So he's got all his companion cavalry there, 6 of them. And then he's got the rest of royal pikemen. So he's got 14 royal pikemen. No, he's got 12 royal pikemen. So that's the build. So let's get started. This battle's a wee bit longer than other battles, so if you wish to skip ahead, do so. Also, Brotherhood member TR was spectating this battle. He's got some elephants or something like that. Yeah, but he won't be doing anything in this battle, he's just spectating it. So yeah, it's interesting, this battle, because obviously it's on a different map, and the builds are different from traditional 31k. 31k is not really an archer game. This is why it makes it interesting with OTD, because I know they usually play CWB, and CWB is very archer favourable, and they've also got their own rule set which is quite favourable to archers as well. But 31k doesn't focus around archer work that much. Like, it's still got its uses, and still can be very, very effective, for sure, but 31k's main thing is infantry, with the cavalry playing a very critical, decisive winning factor role. So your infantry's your core, and your cavalry's like your striking killing power. In most scenarios, 31k can vary though. It's a very variable rule set, but generally speaking, I'm just generalizing here, that infantry is generally that's the main play of 31k. It's the staple, it's the workhorse of 31k games, with the cavalry delivering a decisive blow to gain the advantage there, with the teamwork obviously being the core issue, or the core thing that sets up who's going to win, obviously. So that's why when you play against OTD members like Rex and Copsman, and any of them really, there are other players, there's several of them, and they bring a lot of archers. Now, they've only brought 4 archers each. They used to bring 6, but they tend to bring, I think, less now, which is smarter in my opinion, because they'd only ever left them with 8 infantry, and that really was stretching it by 31k standards. If you're going to fight a traditional build, if you're going to go that light on infantry, you're going to have to fight differently, and gain advantages elsewhere. Otherwise, it's just your lack of infantry numbers is going to cost you when it comes down to the cavalry charge. And that is why, again, it's always quite interesting when you fight with OTD, because they'll always be at a disadvantage infantry-wise. They'll have their archers, but they have to make them work. If they don't make them work, then they're at serious disadvantages. But an interesting thing is, because they bring archers, it gives them a lot of excess money, so you'll often find that OTD members have superior cavalry, because their cavalry is heavily upgraded. And that can work very well for them, because cavalry, as I said, is usually the decisive winning factor in the 31k game. The infantry is just a staple workhorse that kind of fixes everything into place and begins the battle, but it is the cavalry that will cause the win or the loss in pretty much, I would say, 80% of games. They're a very, very deciding factor. So that is why OTD can still be dangerous, because their cavalry are stronger, because they've spent more money on archers, which gives them excess money to put on cavalry, which can be very dangerous, but it does mean they've got less infantry. And if their their infantry is not up to standard. It can be outclassed by a steady build-up by another Roman player, for instance. Like Hades could build up on Rex here and he'd win, just because he's got more to build up with. So it means that Rex would have to make his archers pay off and win something decisive there, and then use his superior upgraded cav. Otherwise Hades is going to win, because he's just got more infantry to go on. And basically the same thing here with MGM. So the key I find when you fight these battles with archers is you don't want to give archers room to work. You need to try and blunt them or stop them from being able to do the task they need to do. So don't give them any flanks, don't let them get cheap shots, don't give them anything like that. Basically keep them so that they've got nothing good to shoot at. So like keep your men frontal to them and make them fight on your terms, and that way you can apply your advantages to the infantry and cavalry engagements, because you'll have more infantry to go on to build up your attacks. So that's usually a strategy I would recommend when faced with people who like to do this sort of archery style build, because it will work. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to flank around here, and I've got my cav out here as well, and I'm just looking to be annoying for Rex here. I just want to be on his flank. I want to see if he'll shoot me as well. Like, I'm not bothered if my cav or even my slingers get killed, because I just want him to shoot me and use his archers on targets that are less profitable. So Hades, who's got a nice spread with his archers, can, you know, neutralize. Like, the key thing is we don't even need to win the archer duel. We just need to do enough damage, like either to the archers or to their numbers of arrows, like deplete them. So it's just neutralizing your opponent's asset here. And in the case of OTD members, their asset is their archers. So neutralizing their archers is effective. Now, we can't be overly aggressive with cavalry in this fight because I don't have any particular special cavalry. I've just got these Numidian lights, Numidian mercenaries, which I will try use on archers that are unsuspecting, but generally I won't use. With Carthage, I'm just going to pause it again. I know I pause it a lot, guys, and I don't mean to bore the crap out of you with my pausing, but I want to explain. Carthage is kind of unpredictable as a faction because Carthage can do a few things. So, like, it's not set. Like, you know, with certain factions, they're kind of set. Like, Greece, you know, is going to bring lots of infantry and archers, or one or the other. It'll almost always bring plenty of Spartans. Rome, you know, can do several things, but generally it'll be 14-6 or 15-6 or 15-5 or something very close to that. You know, it's not hugely varied with the Romans. Or, for instance, like the Germans, you know, they're going to bring a lot of shock and scare infantry and maybe a couple of archers to back up. Macedon, you know, Macedon's going to probably bring 14 pikes, some cav or some archers. It's kind of generally, like, it's not necessarily predictable, but it's you can anticipate, I guess, to a certain extent what factions will bring. And in the case of Carthage, you can't always completely predict with Carthage, because Carthage can bring like lots and lots of pikes, which is generally probably the best approach at Carthage, but you can also bring a lot of cavalry, you can bring a lot of slingers, you can bring a lot of Numidian mercenary units. There's lots of things that you can kind of do with Carthage. It's not really great, like better in one specific way than others, but I find with Carthage you generally want some very strong pikes. Carthage is great for killing off other pike factions. In fact, it's really good at countering every other pike faction in the game. Macedon, Greece, Pontus, Seleucids. Carthage is great at countering them. The only two of them that really can stand up to Carthage is Macedon and Greece. However, this build here by Boo Boo won't stand up to my build, because what the difference is here is I've got 16 pikes, and most of them are gold and 2 EXP against 12 raw pikemen. So Boo Boo really shouldn't take this fight, which is why the OTD players' builds are not going to be great here, because they need to make it so that either Boo Boo is supported and like they support him, but to do that would take infantry away, and they're already infantry short on the flanks. Ignore those noises, that's actually Game Ranger, I forgot to turn it off. So that's why these builds are not particularly great. So I'm going to push Macedon. Boo Boo wisely runs away from it, but he can only run away so much because these guys are at infantry disadvantage, so they need to try and skirmish us, and if they can't skirmish us, they'll lose because they don't have enough infantry. and they need to make sure that cavalry works, and they do have a cavalry advantage. Again, that's something they need to work. They need to work that cavalry advantage and their skirmish advantage. If they give us infantry fights on our terms, they're going to lose, because their infantry is just in lesser numbers and it's weaker. So that's definitely going to work against them. So Boo Boo can't take this engagement with me. I'm going to win it because he's only got 12 pikes to my 16, and mine are good at killing his. You generally want like no less than 14, I would say. Probably more like 15 or 16 pikes with Macedon if you want to seriously be able to stand up to Carthage. Carthage will always have the advantage, but it's not impossible for Macedon to grind Carthage out just based on sheer numbers, much the same way they do with Greece. But it's harder because Carthage can bring more men at higher upgrades. For now, I'm just trying to skirmish these guys and shoot them up, and they're trying to skirmish, which is wise, but they need to do something aggressive with their cavalry. They need to take advantage of the superior cavalry numbers. You have to take into account that they have 18 cavalry, we have 12, well 14 I guess, but you can't call these Numidian mercenaries seriously effective. Other than just being a pain in the ass, which is what they're doing here. And one of them actually glitches here. It's not going to skirmish properly. I've got it on skirmish mode, but it just runs straight into the melee and routes right away, which is annoying. But they need to make their skirmish work for them. So what they really should try and do is occupy one of the flanks here and then destroy the other flank, because this is going to be like, Macedon can't beat me infantry sound wise, but if they destroy an opponent quickly, then they can potentially roll my flank up. But running away like this, trying to skirmish, it isn't working because we're constantly at their front, and being at their front like this makes it too difficult for them to skirmish properly. They've got nothing good to skirmish at. They've got to try and turn our flanks or split us up to get good moves with their archers, and we're not giving them it. We're not giving them that kind of scenario. We're just going to keep fighting frontal, and they're going to have to play defensively here, and if they can't get it, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble here. So MGM starts pushing up over here, and he can, he should really push on and put pressure on, because he's got the numbers infantry wise, and Hades can do the same, and these guys know this. That's why they're retreating like this. I mean, at no point is there going to be any scenario that's favourable to them, in terms of infantry at least. Like on the flanks they're both weaker, and in the middle they're weaker. So any direct infantry engagement will go our way just based upon numbers and superior strength of infantry units. So they need to use their greater number of cavalry and greater upgrades on their cavalry in support of their archers in some capacity to destroy one of these flanks, because it is the only way they're going to win. MGM makes a bit of a premature charge here. He hasn't done a great charge, and he's going to get countered by, as you can see, they're making a good move here. They're going to try all countering all at once to try and break MGM. This is a good move, but this is what they need to do, because if they don't, they're not going to be able to win an infantry engagement, so they have to equalise. And MGM's holding because there's less infantry from Brutii to force that difficulty on him, and Hades is going to get a counter here. This is going to be good. I'm going to start getting aggressive with Macedon. I want to destroy Macedon while I can. I probably should pull off some pikes, which I think I might end up doing, just to reinforce the MGM here. As you can see, these guys get a bit of a counter here. It's not a great one though, but as you can see, they keep retreating back like this, and now what's going to happen is Macedon's going to get really, really outpositioned here. But unfortunately for us, MGM is going to get destroyed. This is good for them. This was a very good move by OTD members here and Boo Boo. They needed to equalise, and they did equalise. However, it's going to cost Macedon here, because Macedon's taking an engagement it simply can't win, and I can reel off some pikes to play defence over here and keep these guys away. Hades and MGM, if they can conserve their cavalry, we should be alright, because that will work out really nicely. As you can see, some of these archers are going to get caught by Hades infantry here. As you can see, some charges coming in, and there are some Brutii units getting routed here. Hades Cav does get a bit routed, but it'll probably come back. But these guys would do wise to be conserving their cavalry. I'm going to just shift some of my pikes over here just to slow this down, because I'm destroying Macedon in the middle. I'm trying to take advantage of that right now. We need to destroy Macedon quickly to take advantage of MGM being destroyed on the flank here. I'm a little bit slow here to get my pikes down. As you can see, that was a blunder on my part. I was not. I was trying to get my numbers down over here, and I didn't micro these very well. I do get my pikes down eventually, but these guys are probably going to get destroyed because they're outflanked. But Hades is going to push around here, and we need to rid ourselves of Macedon quickly. Which is what we're going to do. And these archers, Hades is going to go hunt them down. This is perfect. Hades absolutely was brilliant doing this because they could, if we lost all our cavalry and they still had plenty of archers left, then we'd lose because they could skirmish us then, and that would be great for them. But if they have nothing to protect their archers or no archers left at all, we still have an infantry advantage here with Macedon being so easily destroyed by my Carthaginian army and with Hades at full numbers. And all this running around all these troops has really tired everyone because remember we're in the desert, so we have to try and be careful of that. You have to actively avoid it. But Hades is just going to push in. We just need to get rid of these archers as much as possible. As long as the archers are like really depleted to the point where they won't be able to do enough. Is ideal. So hunting them down here like this is a good idea from Hades, but he needs to be careful he doesn't lose his cavalry because he needs to save them to get rid of the archers. Over here, using slings here to try and get rid of any flanks that are turned. As you can see, Macedon has been very quickly destroyed. As to be expected, they simply did not have nearly enough infantry to take on my my Sacred Band to this extent. Over here you can see that the cavalry's charging in at Hades. Hades is trying to pin it down with infantry here. He needs to be very careful. He doesn't want to lose his units here, but he's going to possibly be able to catch a few of them out. Let's see. He's still got some cavalry here, I think. But it'd be bad if he loses his cavalry because we need to get these missile units. That or conserve our own, and Rex is making a good move. He's trying to get rid of our missile units because our missile units could potentially counter theirs and take them out. And if they're missiles, they have to use them because if they lose their missile units, then they can't win because they don't have enough infantry to win. As you can see, like Rex, I believe, sorry, Kotzman, like more or less lost his infantry in the engagement with MGM. And I just completely destroyed Macedon easily with my Carthaginian army. So the only player left with substantial infantry is Rex, and he only had 10 to begin with. So he's going to take on all my pikemen, 16 of them, with Hades infantry as well. So they have to make these their missile units and whatever remaining cavalry work again. So that is why Hades trying to get rid of these cavalry, these missile units would be really nice. Or at least make it so that they can't engage. So what I noticed, like their missile units are really far away at the moment and distracted. So I want to attack. I'm trying to get my guys organised. I'm a little bit separated out here, so this is not particularly good engagements for me. So I'm trying to get my pikes organised here. Bit of a slow micro going on here. That's why they're bloody walking, which isn't really good. And Hades is going to back me up. So what he's going to try and do is delay over here, and we're going to try and destroy these urban cohorts here. If they lose their infantry, they've got no shield for their missile units, and we've still got missile units that are in the back here. So we'll be bringing these guys in. So I'm going to form up my pikes a little better, try and just organise them a bit. And I mean, like Rome counters Carthage very well. Like they're very weak to the Roman pillar, but numbers are way in my favour here. Like I've got like twice as much infantry as him, almost twice as much infantry as him. So and I've got Hades with me as well. So infantry-wise, this is an engagement Rex doesn't want. He should run away and try and link up with his archers and turn flanks because once I get my pikes organised and my slings into position to shoot them in the back, his infantry is going to lose. And now Hades is just going to push around here. So I got my pikes organised. They were a bit disorganised and messy, but it's alright now because these guys are going to manage to turn around in time to get a few of these cav. And he'll probably lose a cav unit out here. There's a few little regrouping Macedon units, but Macedon got completely steamrolled. Just didn't have enough infantry to fight Carthage upright like that. And with Hades here with me, it's just a matter of time before the Scipii infantry routes, because there was only 10 of it, so he just doesn't have enough infantry to make it work. And if he runs out of infantry, there's nothing to shield the apart from the few remaining cavalry units. There's nothing to shield their missile units, and as you can see, like their missile units are heavily depleted by this stage. Hades did a very, very good job of neutralising them, and we've still got our own missile units which are not dying easily to these remaining cavalry. So we could mix our own missile units to shoot up their missiles, and then they'd probably just by default run out, not have enough missile units left to deal with the sheer number of infantry that myself and Hades have remaining. But as you can see, like, we've killed off the Scipii infantry units now. They're surrounded over here on multiple sides, and you can see that they're routing, and we're just going to rid ourselves of these guys. These guys should have pulled their infantry back, regrouped with their cavalry, and tried skirmishing us. They probably would be in a very good chance of pulling off a victory if they did that right. Macedon's in here, being a nuisance. I'm just going to turn my pikes to deal with those. And there's a few more Scipii units here. The Scipii general starts routing. As you can see, I still got a very large number, probably several units here that are still up in their 50s and 60s, 50s, 69, 40 odd. And Hades has still got much the same. So it's pretty good, looking pretty good for us, really. The cavalry is still trying to get rid of these missile units, and I'm just going to run them around a bit, see if they'll run around. There's still a very marginal chance that their missiles might be able to do enough damage, but if you look at it, Hades can just go testudo, and I can form my pikes pretty tightly together so that they'll deflect certain amounts of arrow fire, and given the sheer number of infantry here, it would be very unlikely that their missile units, as depleted as they are, would just be able to do enough. They'd have lots of ammo because there's not as many of them, but the sheer number of infantry units that we still have that are still, tightly packed together like this, very unlikely that they'd be able to kill it off. And we've got heaps of pikes, and all they'd have left at that stage is their cavalry, which would just get killed on the sacred band. And I mean, even if they would have enough missile units left to kill all my sacred band, most likely they wouldn't be able to do that. Hades still has 3 urban cohorts which are in testudo, and they can't do anything about them. And keeping in mind, there are still missile units from both of us that can just shoot at some of their units here. So it's pretty much at this stage in our favour. Although Rex reckon they had a good chance of winning, very marginal. I do not think they'd have enough ammo, and even if they did, it wouldn't be enough to just destroy everything, because the testudos would just take forever to kill, and then the cavalry wouldn't be able to kill it, I wouldn't think. I would definitely have enough pikes left, I would say, because they've got this archer unit, they've got so they've got one Brutii archer unit that I can see over there, and yeah, literally they got I think one. All I can really find is just this one archer unit, so I thought they had more than that. So yeah, there's really no way they could have won this battle, because I'm only seeing literally one archer unit that's actually available to fight. No way it's got enough ammunition to deal with all this. Absolutely not. We could just run at it. I think we thought they had more archers than this, but if I remember correctly, though, this game gets terminated very soon, unfortunately, because I can't even remember why it happened, but it just happened. But yeah, there's nothing these guys can do. They've only really got cavalry left, and I mean a couple of infantry units. But against this, they've got two full urbans more or less, one depleted one, and friggin' heaps of sacred band. There's still probably at least a third of my army left in full. A lot of my units are at 50, 59, 50, 60. They're still in very good numbers, and they've got very, very little left to stop it. And cavalry will not work here because it's just a crap load of pikes. So essentially we have won because we're able to take out those missile units, and that was the key. Once Hades collected those missile units via his own missiles, some help from my slingers and using his cavalry and infantry, that was it. Our superior infantry advantage just carried it to the end. Even though we lost MGM, it didn't matter because we still had an infantry advantage. We lost MGM, but we quickly destroyed Macedon. We got rid of most of the archer units, and they can't do anything beyond that point because they just don't have enough infantry left, and they don't have any missiles left to stop us doing what we did here. So essentially, I think this is a good battle from the aspect of if you can't make your archers skirmish and get into good skirmish positions, you're going to lose because your infantry disadvantage will come against you. They made a good move in destroying MGM, but even when they did, they lost Macedon and the infantry advantage remained with us. And as a result, we just be able to box up like this at the end, and they had nothing left. And unfortunately the battle got terminated, so I can't show you this scorecard. But it is in my screenshots on my screen in my library there if you want to have a look. I believe I had about 1,800 kills, mostly from killing off Macedon. I think Hades was around 1,400, and MGM didn't have a lot. I can't remember. It is in my screen in my library here on Steam, so if you want to have a look at that, it's nice. So once again, hope you guys enjoyed it. I think this was a nice battle to illustrate some of the mixtures of Carthage, working in the desert, and why 31k is an infantry-based game with a cavalry support. Where archers, don't get me wrong, they can work very well, but it's just difficult if your opponents make it very difficult for you, in which case we did in this battle. So great game to everybody involved. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, if you have something interesting you think I could do to celebrate my 3-year anniversary as a YouTuber, leave a comment in the description, or the comment section below, and we'll have some great ideas hopefully. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon next time.